When you hear the term probability, what comes to your mind? What do you think probability is talking about?
Like, how let's like when they say the probability of something, that means like the possibility of something
Okay,
or
we're
the
talking about possibility of that event happening. Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Okay, so okay, that's correct. We'll be looking at a few questions now to actually treat probability. So probability of an event can be defined as the ratio of required outcomes of that event, then divided by the possible outcome of the event. I will repeat that. Probability of an event can be defined as the ratio of the required outcome over that of the possible outcome. For example, if I ask you whether rain is going to fall today, has rain fallen in your own area today?
Not really, just maybe.
Okay, so heavy rain hasn't fallen. Fine. If I say, will rain fall today? How many events am I requesting from your hand?
One.
What do you say?
One.
One. Yes, one. But it is possible that rain will fall, and it is also possible that rain will not fall. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So how many events are possible here?
Two.
So from the definition that we said, probability of an event is the number of required outcomes over number of possible outcomes. So what is the probability that rain will fall today in your area?
To the over the outcome.
Yes. What over what will you give me as your answer now?
Possibility of rain falling over.
Excuse me, please. Let me switch off this phone that is ringing here. Now I can hear you.
To the required outcome over the possible outcome.
So what is the answer to the question I asked you?
Of the possibility of rain falling.
Yes, what is the probability that rain will fall in your area today?
I don't know how to answer it.
Okay. About the number of possible outcomes. Okay. But I ask you something. Number of required outcomes. How many events were required from your hand? From you? Did I requested? One. So how many events are possible? How many events are possible?
One.
No. You know, we're saying probability of an event is the number of required outcomes over number of possible outcomes. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
When I say will rain fall today, so how many events have I asked from your hand? One. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And if I say, what are the events that are possible? surrounding that question. It is possible that rain fall, and it is also what?
Possible it doesn't fall.
So how many events are those?
So
Now, what is your answer? That if I say will rain fall today in your area?
1/2.
Yes, that is what I want to hear. Now, do you understand it now?
Yes, sir.
What is the probability that rain will fall? That is provided rain hasn't falling on that particular day. So we're going to say this is 1/2. So probability of rain falling, probability that rain will fall can be written as what? 1/2.
So
Okay, let's look at this. Number 2, if there are 3 students, 3 students in a room, what is the probability that hold on, extend this. What is the probability that a student chosen at random will be okay, well, let me not use students now. Okay, it's still okay like that. So if there are 3 students in a room, what is the probability that a student chosen at random will be a boy? Let's just answer that kind of question and let's analyze it. So if there are 3 students in a room, if you just choose one of them at random, what's the probability that that person will be a boy? So 1/2, because you either there are boys or there are girls. Yes or no?
yes, sir.
So those are 2 events. So I can say this is 1/2. This is not a standard question anyway. So I can say answer is 1/2 to that. But let's go to questions that are more standard, like tossing a coin. So if a coin is tossed, you throw it up and it comes down and you cover it. So what is the probability that what is the probability of showing a tail? We say either show head or tail.
Yes,
So what's the probability of showing a tail? Yes, what should be the answer to this?
1/1. 1/2.
1/2. Yes, the answer is 1/2 because it could either show a head or
Or a tail.
a tail. Now let's look at this one. If a fair die, Ludo die, is tossed once, what is the probability of getting following items? So we want to list some items now. Getting a factor, first question there, A a factor of 12, then B, an even number, an even number, an even number, then C, a prime number, and D, are you following?
Yes, I am.
And D, let's say of showing. I want to pick something. Okay, a factor then LCM of 6 and 12. And let me put it that way. Now, do you know that when I asked for number 1, that what's the probability that rain will fall? How many events did you say is possible?
1/2.
And that's 1/2, which is, no, that is not the event. So how many events did you say is possible?
Okay, 1.
No, 2.
2, okay, that may either fall or not.
Yes, very good. Then you are requested about only 1. Only 1. Now, let's say those 2 events are called sample space. What did I say they are called?
Sample space.
Very good. If there are 3 students, blah, 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 it should be a boy or a girl. Those are sample space. If a coin is tossed up and, either head or tail, so the head and the tail are the sample space. Now, if a fair die is tossed, then we have the sample space of the fair die. Sample space to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
So these are the numbers on a die. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, if these are the numbers, now we can begin to answer our question. How many of these numbers are factors of 12?
You have 1.
Yeah, how many of them?
5.
5. So that is 5. Over what is total sample space?
5/6.
5/6. So the probability of getting a factor of 12 when a die is tossed is 5/6. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
The probability of getting a factor of 12 is 5/6. Why? What is requested from you is factor of 12. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So how many of them are there? 5. Then out of how many possible events? 6. So it's possible that it shows up 1, or shows up 2, or shows up 3, or 4, or 5, or 6. So those are 6 events. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
when I say probability, now can you answer the next question? So what should be the answer to B?
3/6.
3/6, which is also equal to what? 1/2, right?
Yes, sir.
So in the objective, you might not see 3/6 there, but you definitely see 1/2. So can you answer the third one?
3/6 again.
Okay, you
No,
said 3 over 6. What? Oh, you want to say something?
4/6.
You said
4/6.
4 over 6. 4 over 6. Why did you say 4 over 6?
Because a prime number is the number that can divide one and itself.
Maybe that is why you missed it. A prime number is a number that is divisible only by 1 and itself. Hmm? Are you
Yes.
listening? So,
Yes, sir.
and those two factors that will divide the prime number must be different, must not be the same thing. So, it should be 1 and that number itself. So, if you pick 1, what are the factors of 1? Only 1. It has no 2 factors. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So, 1 is not a prime number. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But 2 is a prime number. Why? Because only 1 and 2 can divide 2. Nothing else can divide 2. Is that taken?
Yes.
3 is also a prime number as you know. Only 1 and 3 can divide 3. Right?
Yes, sir.
Then which other prime number is there? 5.
5.
Which is only 1 and 5 can divide 5. But 4 and 6 are not prime number. Then 1 is also not a prime number. So how many prime numbers are now there?
3.
What are they?
2, 3, and 5.
Very good. So the answer should be what? 3 over 6, which is also equal to what?
1 over
1.
2.
Okay. What is the probability of getting an LCM of 12 when you toss a die? What is the LCM of 6 and 12? What is the LCM of 6 and 12?
12.
12. So is it possible for a die to show up 12?
No.
So how many of the LCM of 6 and 12 appear in this sample space?
2.
No. LCM of 6 and 12. Does it appear at all?
Yes.
So how many
No.
appear? None, which is 0. Yes or no?
No.
So if you
Yes,
are to say, you will say the answer is 0 over 6, which is also 0. You get it?
Yes, sir.
So when something is not possible, then the probability of that event is 0. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For example, if I say, what is the probability of you yourself that you are not working, buying a car this night?
0.
It's 0. Because you are not working, you understand me?
Yes,
So I cannot tell you, miracle can happen, and somebody will say, take this 9 billion, this night. And you are like, okay, what else do I want to use money for? Boy, get me one car. Then that means that event is still possible, but that is, odd. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
this is just an introductory aspect to probability. We'll look at some more complex, so that I actually treated it this way so that you can really know what we are talking about when we are saying probability. I say, what's the probability that you are going to school tomorrow? Is what?
0.
0, because
Yes,
tomorrow
sir.
is not a school day. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
So any event, but an event, okay, provided all things are equal, what is the probability that you are going to sleep tonight?
1 over 2.
What are the 2 events possible? So it's possible you sleep and it's possible you do not sleep. What will you be doing?
Yes, sir.
What will you be
I
doing?
don't know.
Maybe you
I don't
go
know.
to BG, Abby.
Yes.
Okay. But let's assume no BG on a normal day. Probability that you sleep in the night is always 1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that's the only event. How many events are required? 1. How many events are
1.
possible? 1. So
1.
the probability of an event that is certain is 1. Then it is no longer a probability. It's a certain event. We only take probability
Yes.
for an event that is not certain. Okay, if you toss a die up, and I am expecting you to get a factor of 12, there are 5 of them there, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But do you know it's very much possible also that even if you toss it 10 times, you will not get any of them, you'll be getting one.
Yes, sir.
It's also possible. But the chances of getting any of those factors is very high. That's why we call it 5/6. Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
So you can see it's very high. It's almost equal to the total event. That's 5/6.
Yes, sir.
But if I say, what is the probability of not getting a factor of 12? What should be the answer?
Not a factor of 12.
Yes.
That means any number.
Of getting a number that is not a factor of 12 when you toss a die.
1/6.
1/6, because it's only one. I mean, it's only 5 rather. Yes or no?
Yes.
That means
Yes,
only
sir.
one number that is not a factor of 12. So, probability of not getting a factor of what? 12
12.
equal to what? 1
1/6.
over 6. Do you know that question A and question E are word and opposite? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you know that they are word and opposite, there is a principle I want to bring out there. That if I give you the probability of getting an event, and I said, what is the probability of that event not happening? Then you just say 1 minus the probability of that event happening. What did I say?
I'll just say 1 minus
No,
probability of that event.
Start from the beginning of that thing.
Okay, you said if you should ask me
Yes.
the
If I
possibility
should
of
give
an
you
event not
the
happening.
probability of an event, that this is the probability that event will occur. If I now say find the probability that the event will not occur, I am trying to say, they are word and opposite. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
So that means the answer will be the negation of each happening. That is 1. Number 1 minus the probability that it will happen. Let's try it in the case of question A and E, which are word and opposite. Let's see. So, question A. What is the answer to question A?
5/6.
5/6. So, that means for question A, the answer is 5/6. So 5/6. Then question E, the answer should be 1 minus 5/6. Then 1/1. What is the LCM of 6 and 1? 6. How many 1 is in 6? 6. 6 times 1 minus. How many 6 is in 6? 1. 1 times 5. 5. And this gives us what? 1/6. So without doing anything, you could just subtract the probability of that event happening from 1 in order to get the probability of the event not happening. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
For example, if I say the probability of a student passing an exam, let's put this down. We have the number, whatever now. This question examples. So let's say number 1. If the probability of a student passing an exam is 3/5. What is the probability of not passing or of failing the exam. The exam. What is the probability of failing the exam? So what did I say you are going to do to get this answer? What did I say you would do?
You say 1 minus 3 over 5.
Yes, 1 minus the probability that it's going to happen. So the solution will be 1 minus 3 over 5. And if it's in an objective, just write 2 over 5. That's because 2. Yes.
You say if the probability of the student passes in the exam is 3 over 5.
Yes.
So if it's not the possibility, so either it passes or it fails. But it's not supposed to be 1 over 2.
Yes, that's a very good question. If they did not give you condition, this condition, they have given you the condition already. Probably, maybe it's supposed to write 5 exams. And if he passed 3 out of them, he has passed. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Even if he fails to pass, he will go to the next class. So maybe that's a particular condition. That's what it is. But if they didn't specify the condition, just say the student writes an exam, what is the probability of passing? Say 1 over 2. Okay. But whenever they give you things like this, just speak this way. You know, even in the issue of coin that we show head or tail, when it's going to become many, maybe you throw 1 coin many times, or you throw many coins 1 time or twice, then it's going to go beyond the 1 over 2. Let's try a question on that. So number 2. If a fair coin is tossed twice, what is the probability that it shows any of these following? Let me going to list them now. So if a fair coin is tossed twice, what's the probability that it shows A, maybe 1 head and 1 tail, B, 2 heads? Okay, this is it. You are going to draw a diagram for that. Like this is a coin. For that coin, it is possible that the coin shows either a head or a tail when you toss it once. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And if you toss it the second time, which is the second level, it's possible that the first time is head and the second time is head. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It's possible that the first time is head and the second time is tail. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It's also possible that the first time. Let me undo that. There's something I need to indicate. I need to first indicate the head and tail. Head and tail of each attempt of tossing the coin. Now, so like I said, it's possible that it shows head the first time and head the second time. Then it's possible it shows head the first time, tail the second time. Then it's possible that the first time is tail, while the second time is head. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And it's also possible that first time is tail, second time is also shows tail. Now, these are the sample spaces. Okay, this is the sample space. And what did the question ask me? Probability of showing 1 head and 1 tail. Where do you see 1 head and 1 tail? 1, 2. How
Yes.
many of them occur? How many times did it occur?
Twice.
Twice. So that means to option A, it is 2/4, which is 1/2. Why did I say 2/4? These are the possible events. How many are they?
4.
Then the required events. How many are they?
2.
2. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's see the second one. Let's say 2 head. What's probability that it shows 2 head? How many times did it show 2 head?
1.
So the required is 1. How many things are possible of happening?
4.
4. So the answer is what? 1/4. Is that clear? Also, I'm going to round up this class now. I will send you links so that we can solve more questions for another 30 minutes. Okay? Is that clear? I'm not hearing you. Can I? Yeah, is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me resend the link so that we can continue. All right. Said we are looking at law of demand. Key word or a key term. So, see the screen now.
Yes, sir.
So here, talking about demand reduction. This number the term demand. Demand reduction refers to efforts aimed at reducing public desire drug policy content drugs, but two policies out. So we're talking about, as we talk about demand being consumers' willingness and is a particular one. So we're also talking about what is called demand reduction. So there could be a case use people and certain substances, particularly illegal or illicit drugs. Is that taking?
Yes, sir.
So there are also some other drugs that rather not say illegal. For example, when I was young, you can just go to any chemist around and buy Billion 5. Do you know what they call Billion 5?
Sir.
Do you know what they call Billion 5? Billion 5. You heard of it?
5.
Billion 5. Billion 5. Have you heard of it? Drug before? So when I was young, there's this drug called Billion 5, a small tablet that doesn't cost anything. It's just around, maybe if it were to be sold today, one small tablet would be 5 naira or 10. So when I was young, do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
And this drug, they use it as laxative, they use it as a drug that will make you fall asleep.
Oh.
If you are unable to sleep, just use it daily. But after some time, it will discover that kidnappers or whoever, or they will invite people for dinner or whatever, and mix with the fight, and before you know it, those people will sleep up and they will do all manner of evil. So that's why the government now have to ban the sale of such drugs without doctor's prescription. So doctors must prescribe that drug before you get it. So with that, they are able to reduce the demand for drugs. Is that taken?
Yes,
Is that clear?
sir.
All right. Next thing we are looking at, looking at the law of demand. The fundamental principle of economics states that at higher price, must demand lower quantity of goods. So that's just the summary of the law. It says at higher price, consumers demand lower quantity of goods. Is Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what is now the law of demand? Law of demand is one of the most fundamental concepts said in economics. It works with the law of supply to explain how market economy allocate resources and determine the prices of services that we observe in everything. So the law of demand states that quantity purchased varies inversely in price. I take that again. The law of demand states that quantity purchased varies inversely with price. What does inverse variation mean? It means as the quantity, the quantity is going to reduce when the price increases, or the quantity is going to increase when the price. So one quantity changes, become lower as the other quantity increases. That is inverse. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But if I talk about direct proportion, mean the higher the person, that one is direct proportion. So the law of demand states that quantity purchased varies inversely with price. In other words, the higher the price, the lower the quantity. And this occurs because of what is called diminishing marginal utility. What do I call it?
Diminishing marginal utility.
Yes, diminishing marginal utility. And that is, the consumers use units of an economic good that they purchase to serve their most urgent need first. Then, they use each additional unit of the good to serve successive lower value ends. So if you're going to buy bread this time around, let's assume it's been long, you've not taken bread in years, and you're like, oh, I'm crazy, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I want to take bread and but I just need bread. So when you get the bread, now this bread is fresh. By the time you take the first bite, you're just going to satisfy that hunger for bread. So by the time you take the second bite, the third bite, before you know it, you start getting tired of eating the same bread that you have been hungry for. So what we're trying to say is that consumers use the first unit of what they purchase to serve their most urgent needs. Then they use each additional unit that they purchase to serve successive lower value ends. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Key takeaways from the law of demand that fundamental of economy that says the higher the price, at the higher price, consumers will demand the lower quantity of goods. Then demand is derived from the law of diminishing marginal utility. That is the fact that consumers use economic goods to satisfy their most urgent need first or others. Then the next thing is that a market demand curve expresses the sum of quantity demanded at each price across all consumers in the market. So that is if we are to plot the quantity demanded, against the price, it's going to be a reflex on all consumers in the market. And changes in price can be reflected in movement along the demand curve, but by themselves, they do not increase or decrease. And then the last thing there is that the shape and magnitude of demand shift. The demand shifts in response to changes in consumer preferences, consumer income, relative economic goods, and not anything. So these are the shift, the shape and magnitude of demand shift in response to some of these changes, which include consumer preference, income, consumers' income, and relative economic, and it's not affected by changes in price of commodities. So is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next thing is understanding this law of demand. Economics involves the study of how people use limited means to satisfy their unlimited wants. Have you heard it before that they say human wants are limited?
Yes, sir.
That's all. It's just the need that we cater for, not all our own. If I talk about what do you want to eat, and talk about all manner of things that you just want. I want this, I want that, I want that. But the question is, what does your body actually need? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, the law of the man focuses on those limited wants, those unlimited wants. Naturally, people prioritize more urgent wants and needs over the less urgent ones in their economic behavior. And this carries over into how people choose among the limited means available to them. For any economic good, the first unit of that good that the consumer gets and get their hands on will tend to be used to satisfy the most urgent need the most urgent need the consumer has that the good can satisfy. That's that. So the urgent need that you have that good can satisfy is what you're going to sense. Okay. Hold on. So we have spoken about the key takeaways and spoken about under the key takeaways we said that for any economic good, first unit of that good is being used to satisfy the urgent need. Then next thing is that we want to look at example which we have been explaining already. For example, consider a castaway on a desert island. Desert that where there is no water. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Obtain a 6-pack of bottled fresh water. Somebody is on a desert, the person must have been thirsty, the sun must have scorched the person, you so hot and you need water. Now, you now obtain a 6-pack of bottled fresh water washed up on shore. It was just washed up, we said it's a desert island. That means the ocean around Now, the 6-pack of bottled water, fresh bottled water was washed on shore. Then the first bottle to be used to satisfy the castaway's most urgently felt need. That is, just by drinking it to avoid thirst. You understand me? Most likely drinking the water to avoid dying of thirst. And the second bottle might be used bathing to serve off diseases. Then an urgent, that one is an urgent of less immediate need. The first immediate need is to drink so that the person will not die of thirst. Then the second need is to use it to bathe. Then the third bottle to be used for a less urgent need, such as boiling some fish, have a hot meal, and so on, down to the last bottle, which the castaway uses for a relatively low priority, like watering a small prostate plant company on the island. What we're trying to say is that the person gets 6 bottles. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
And he has some needs. First need, one of the needs is that you want to water a cow. One of the needs that you want to boil fish in water. One of the needs is that you need to bathe. One of the needs is that you need to drink because it's thirsty. So which one is the most urgent?
Water to drink.
Oh, okay. That is the way love and power. So in the example, because each additional bottle of water is used for a successively less highly valued want or need by the castaway, we can say that the castaway value each additional bottle less than the one before it. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, when consumers purchase goods on the market, each additional unit of any given good or service that they buy a less value than the one before. So you can say that they value each additional unit less and less. The more they get it. Because they value each additional unit of the good less, they are willing to pay less for it. Is that taking? Is that taking? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
They are not willing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they are willing to pay less for it because the value is less. They are willing to pay less. And if the price gets, for example, we just talked about the island guy. Let's assume he was to pay money for each of the bottles. He was to pay 200 naira per bottled water on that island. He could have said, okay, let me afford and buy the 6, pay 1,200. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now, let us assume that something now happened. After buying the first bottle for 200, he had 1,000 naira remaining. He needs to buy 5. Something now happened. Now said bottled water will be sold for 500 naira. So, will he be willing to increase the money to buy additional 5, or just to buy either one that the money can buy?
Buy one bottle.
Because he has already satisfied the custodian need. So,
Yes.
find out that the value, paying to that. So each additional unit of any given good or service that they will buy will be a less value used than the one before. So we can say that the value of each additional unit, they value each additional unit less. Because they value each additional unit of less, and they are willing to pay less. So one more unit of the good that consumers buy, the less they are willing to pay in terms of the price, or even in terms of the stress to do all the time buy. So by adding up all the units of the good that consumers are willing to buy at the given price, you can describe a market demand curve which is always sloping downward, like the one that I'm going to show you below. So each point on the curve, from point ABC that I will show you, reflects the quantity demanded Q at a given price P. So at point A, for example, the quantity demanded is low, which is Q1, and the price is high, which is P1. At higher prices, consumers demanded less, and at lower prices, they demanded high. Let's look at it. So this is what we are talking about. Can you see the curve now?
Yes, sir.
So at point A, here is the price, very high. Here is the quantity demanded, low. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
If you are going to measure the quantity, this Q3 will be the highest. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Because maybe like, let's say this is 100, 200, 300. So Q3 will be 300. And let's assume the price is from 100, 200, 300. Then P1 will be 300. So at P1 300, Q1 is 100. At P2 200, Q2 is also 200. Then at P3 100, Q3 now 300. So the lower the price, the higher the quantity, and the higher the price, the lower the quantity. Is that taking?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are going to see this so that we can, and when you are watching, you can saw it how this happens. That is the demand curve. Now, demand versus quantity demanded. Demand versus quantity demanded. Here, we're talking about in economics thinking. In economics thinking, it's important to understand the difference between the phenomena of demand and quantity demanded. In the chart, term demand refers to the light blue line plotted, the light blue line that is plotted through ABC. Let's go back to see. Look at this light blue line that is plotted through ABC, straight line, that's slope. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So the term demand refers to that line. Then it expresses the relationship between the urgency of the consumer wants and the number of units of economic goods at hand. Now, a change in demand means a shift of the position or shape of that particular curve that I just showed. So it reflects a change in the underlying pattern of consumer wants and the need, or vice versa. And this means, and with the means that's available, which is that satisfy.
Yes.
On the other hand, the term quantity demanded refers to a point along the horizontal axis. Yes, changes in the quantity demanded typically reflect change in the price without implying any change pattern of consumer preferences. Change in quantity demanded just means movement along the demand curve itself because of a change in price. That is the movement along the demand curve because of a change in price. That is, maybe the quantity becomes higher because price becomes lower. Then these two ideas are often conflated, but this is a common error. Rising or falling prices do not decrease or increase the demand. They change the quantity demanded. Take that again. Rising or falling of prices does not change or does not reduce or increase demand, but they actually change quantity demanded. So whether the price rise or fall, there will always be demand. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But the quantity demanded can. So factors affecting demand. What does change? What does change demand? And what does change bring about a change? The shape and position of the demand curve can be impacted by several factors, such as rising income. Rising income tends to increase the demand for normal economic goods, as people are willing to spend more. So, if it's a normal economic good, then rising income brings about. For example, somebody who is managing a car based on his salary or his portfolio, when he begins to earn it big or whatever, end up buying another car. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Rising income tends to increase demand for normal economies as people are willing to spend more. The availability of flow substitute also is another factor. That a flow substitute that competes with a given economic tend to reduce the demand for that good. For example, if Oral-B toothpaste serves the same purpose as Close, then you cannot say you want to die for Close. You cannot say you will travel far to get closer when Oral-B is close by. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
So, since they satisfy the same kind of consumer needs, then one will affect the other. Conversely, the availability of two complementary goods tend to increase demand for an economic good. Because the use of the two goods together can be even more valuable to the consumer than using them separately, like peanut butter and jelly. Okay, what we're trying to say is this: if somebody is there's a place around your school where somebody opens a shop and is selling ordinary fish, fried fish. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Another person opens selling ordinary bread. But the third person now opens selling fried fish and bread. Who do you think will make more money?
Fried fish and bread.
Because instead of you to go to this place, go to another place, you prefer to go to the person that is selling, and buy it. That is what that one. Other factors such as future expectation, changes in background, environmental conditions, changes in the actual or perceived quality of it, and change demand for, because they alter the pattern of consumer preference, how the goods can be used, or how urgent is needed. Just take it. Now let's talk about the law of supply. Supply is the total amount of service that is available to consumer at certain price point. Take that again. total amount of a specific good or service available to certain point and supply. So as the supply of a product contains, so does the demand. It directly affects the price. The law of supply then is a microeconomic law stating that all other factors being equal, the price of a good or service rises as the price of a good or service rises, that suppliers offer will rise in return and vice versa. So if the price of a good rises, then the supplier will supply more because they want to make more profit. And if the price of a good drops, the supplier will not supply more because they feel like they're not going to make enough profit. So they prefer selling things that are high profit. Is that taking?
Yes, sir.
So the law of supply states that all other factors being equal, the price of a good or service rising, the rising will also make the supply rise. If as the price of a good or service rises, that the supplier offer rise, and as the price of a good or service declines or decreases, then quantity also that the supplier will offer will increase. So ergo, say name. Ergo, when demanded, exceeds the available supply. The price of the product that typically rise. What he's trying to say is that this particular person, ergo, stated that when the demand exceeds the available supply, when people are demanding more and there is little the supplier to offer, the price of the product rise. But do you know why should there be a rise in the price of a product that is limited in supply? Can you think about that? Why should there be a rise in the price of limited in supply?
Why should there be a rise
in the price of a commodity that is limited in supply?
It is limited?
Yes, it's limited. The supply is low. Then
they need to raise it because since it's limited, they will lose income. They will lose part of their profits because it's already few and people will be buying.
And another reason could be that if they let the price bend, and some consumers know that this thing is not going to be there forever. Are you with me?
Yes.
Maybe it's going to become scarce. Then the consumers will go and buy it more. They will hold it. Meanwhile, some consumers that have enough money will buy it. While those that have just little money that is the exact price of that thing not be able to see it buy. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
So some will hold it, while some. But if they increase the price, the increase in price will do two things. Number one, it will discourage those that it is not that they have much money, but they just simply want to hold it, and they don't actually need what they want to. So because the price has been changed, they're like tomorrow now the price might be changed. So they will not buy much value that they are going to hold because there is an increased price. So with that, there will be available little supply for some other people.
Okay.
Yeah. So conversely, should the supply of an item increase while the demand remains the same, then the price will go down. That is, if they are supplying more. For example, there was a time that tomato comes too much in the market and people are not demanding for more tomato. Then a full basket of tomato was going for like 50 naira. You understand? Particularly in the north. And what happened then was that there was conflict between the north and the south or east. And the north said because people are fighting against herdsmen or whatever, people are fighting against herdsmen, fighting against this and that. It's now that they too will not supply the north and the east what they are producing. Forgetting the fact that these are perishable goods. So in order for it not to perish, because they were not able to supply to the south and to the east, then they have to start giving it away at the cheapest price. In this case, we see that the supply of that item has increased, not because it has increased. They supplied the first day, it was not disbursed. Supplied the second day, it was not disbursed. For like, a few days or a week, definitely it has affected them. Then they cannot keep the price up. Otherwise, people will not buy it. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is let's look at one more thing there. Okay. So what is the simple, this is where we're going to be finding out. What is a simple explanation of the law of demand? The law of demand tells us that if more people want to buy something, given a limited supply, the price of that thing will be bit higher. Likewise, the higher the price of it, the lower the money that will be purchased mass. And why is the law of demand together with the law of supply? The law of demand helps us to understand why things are priced at the level that they are, and to identify opportunities by what are perceived to be underpriced or sell what is overpriced product or assets or securities. For instance, a firm may boost production in response to rising prices that have been scored by sports and, for example, you see that people are demanding for this particular whatever, then you go into that business. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is where we're going to be finding up. Or the last thing they say, can the law of demand be broken? I say yes. In certain cases, an increase in demand does not affect prices in ways predicted by the law of demand. I repeat, in certain cases, an increase in demand does not affect prices in ways predicted by the law of demand. Which way was predicted by the law of demand? That is, increase in demand, limited supply will affect the price, will rise the price. Yes or no? Raise the price. Now, but this one is saying that in some cases, an increase in demand does not affect. For instance, the so-called Bibling goods. There are some goods that are called Bibling goods. These are the things for which demand increases as their price rises. As these are perceived as status or symbols. Maybe like cars that I mentioned. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Cars have been on the expensive side since I was born. It has been increasing, it has never reduced. Yes, people they kept on buying it. Yes, of course.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, for demand for giving goods, which in contrast to giving goods are not luxury items. The demand for them rises when the price rises and falls when the price falls. Example of giving goods can include bread, rice, and food. These tend to be common necessities and essential items. Few good substitutes at the same price level. For example, can you call Indomie and spaghetti substitutes?
No.
Because they are not the same. Why are they not the same? With Indomie, you already have what you use to eat and the taste is different. You understand?
Yes, sir.
But spaghetti, you still need stew, need ingredients before you can make spaghetti. So they are not same. So thus, people may start or toilet paper even as the price of toilet paper goes up. That's just an example. That's why we're going to be rounding up then. Expect the in this class. I will send the link in the next 5 minutes. Okay. Alright. So we are looking at law and key word or a key term. So please see the screen now.
Yes, sir.
So here talking about demand reduction. And this what you understand by the term demand reduction. Demand reduction refers to efforts aimed at reducing public desire the drug policy contract definitely drugs, but two policies out. So we're talking about as we talk about demand, the consumers' willingness and ability to purchase a particular good. So we're also talking about what we call demand reduction. So there could be a case use people and certain substances, particularly illegal or illicit drugs. Is that taking?
Yes, sir.
So there are also some other drugs that rather not say legal. For example, when I was young, you can just go to any chemist around and buy Valium 5. Do you know what they call Valium 5?
Sir,
Do you know what they call Valium 5? Valium 5. We had a big
it's five.
Valium 5. Valium 5. We had a
No.
big drug before. So when I was young, there's this drug called Valium 5. It's a small tablet that doesn't cost anything. It's just around, maybe if it were to be sold today, one small tablet to do 5 naira or 10. So when I was young, you understand me?
Yes, sir.
And this drug, they use it as laxative, they use it as a drug that will make you fall asleep.
Oh,
If you are unable to sleep, just use it. But after some time, it was discovered that kidnappers or whoever, or they will invite people for dinner or whatever, and it's mixed with them fight, and before you know it, those people will sleep up and they will do all manner of evil with them. So that's why the government now have to ban the sale of such drugs without doctor's prescription. So doctors must prescribe that drug before you able to buy. So with that, they are able to reduce the demand for such drug. Is that taken?
yes,
Exactly.
sir.
All right. Next thing we are looking at, looking at the law of demand. The fundamental principle of economics states that at higher price, consumers will demand lower quantity of food. So that's just the summary of the law of demand. It says at higher price, consumers demand lower quantity of food. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what is now the law of demand? Law of demand is one of the most fundamental concepts in economics. It works with the law of supply to explain how market economy allocate resources and determine the prices of services that we observe in every day. So the law of demand states that quantity purchased varies inversely from price. I take that again. The law of demand states that quantity purchased varies inversely with price. What does inverse variation mean? It means as the quantity, the quantity is going to reduce when the price increases, or the quantity is going to increase when the price increases. So one quantity changes, become lower, and the other quantity increases. That is inverse. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But if I talk about direct proportion, it means the higher the person, that one is direct proportion. So the law of demand states that quantity purchased varies inversely with price. In other words, the higher the price, the lower the quantity. And this occurs because of what is called diminishing marginal utility. What do I call it?
Diminishing marginal utility.
Yes, diminishing marginal utility. And that is the consumers use units of an economic good that they purchase serve their most urgent need first. Then, this unit serve successive lower value ends. So if you're going to buy bread this time around, let's assume it's been long, you've not taken bread in years, and you're like, oh, crazy, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I want to take bread and but I just need bread, for example. So when you get the bread, now this bread is fresh. By the time you take the first bite, you're just going to satisfy that hunger for bread. So by the time you take the second bite, third bite, before you know it, you start getting tired of eating the same bread that you have long been for. So what we're trying to say is that consumers first unit of what they purchase serve their most urgent, then they use each unit that they purchase to serve successive lower value ends. That's it.
Yes, sir.
The key takeaways from the law of demand that fundamental of economics that says the higher the price, at the higher price, consumers will demand a lower quantity of goods. Then, demand is derived from the law of diminishing marginal utility. That is the fact that consumers use economic goods to satisfy their most urgent needs first or others. Then the next thing is that the market demand curve expresses the sum of quantity demanded at each price across all consumers in fact. So that is if we are to plot the quantity demanded, against the price, it's going to be a reflex on all consumers. And changes in price can be reflected in movement along the demand curve. But by themselves, they do not increase or decrease. And then the last thing there is that the shape and magnitude of demand shift. The demand shifts in response to changing smart preferences, smart income, relative economic growth, and not changing. So these are the shift, the shape and magnitude of demand shift response to some of these changes, which include consumer preference, income, consumers' income, and relative economy, and it's not affected by changes in price of commodity. So is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next thing is understanding this particular law of demand. Economics involves the study of how people use limited means to satisfy their unlimited wants. Have you heard it before that they say human wants are limited?
Yes, sir.
So it's just the need that we cater for, not all our wants. So I talk about what do you want to eat, and talk about all manner of things that you just want. I want this, I want that, I want that. But the question is, what does your body actually need? Is that the thing?
Yes, sir.
Now, the law of demand focuses on those limited wants, those unlimited wants. Naturally, people prioritize more urgent wants and needs over the less urgent wants, their economic behavior. And this carries over in how people choose among the limited means available. For any economic first unit of that good that the consumer gets their hands on will tend to be used to satisfy the most urgent need the most urgent need the consumer has that the good can satisfy. That's that. So the urgent need that you have that good can satisfy is what we're going to mention. Okay. So we have spoken about the key takeaways and talking about under the key takeaways we said that for any economic good, first unit of that good is being used to satisfy the urgent need. You know. Then next thing is that we want to look at the example of what we have been explaining all along. For example, consider a castaway on a desert island. Desert that where there is no water. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Obtain a 6-pack of bottled fresh water. Somebody is on a desert, this must have been thirsty, the sun must have scorched the person, you so hot and you need water. Now obtain a 6-pack of bottled fresh water washed up on shore. It was just washed up, you said it's a desert island, that means maybe ocean around or Now the 6-pack of bottled water, fresh bottled water was washed on shore. Then the first bottle to be used to satisfy the castaway's most urgently felt need. That is just by drinking it to avoid thirst. You understand me? Most likely drinking the water to avoid dying of thirst. Then the second bottle might be used for bathing to stave off diseases. And an urgent, that one is an urgent, but less immediate. The first immediate need is to drink so that the person will not die of thirst. Then the second need is to use it to bathe. Then the third bottle to be used for a less urgent need, such as boiling some fish, have a hot meal, and so on, down to the last bottle, which the castaway uses for a relatively low priority, like watering a small protect plant in company on the island. What we're trying to say is that the person gets 6 bottles. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
And he has some needs. First need, one of the needs is that he wants to water a flower. One of the needs is that he wants to boil fish in water. One of the needs is that he needs to bathe. One of the needs is that he needs to drink because he's thirsty. So which one is the most urgent need?
Water to drink.
Oh, okay. That is the way dog and So in the example, because each additional bottle of water is used for a successively less highly valued want or need by the castaway, we can say that the castaway value each additional bottle less than the one before it. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, when consumers purchase goods on the market, each additional unit of any given good or service that they buy a less value than the one before. So you can say that they value each additional unit less and less. The more they get, because they value each additional unit of the good less, they are willing to pay less for it. Is that taking? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They are not willing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they are willing to pay less for it because the value is less. They are willing to pay less. And if the price gets, for example, we just talked about the island guy. Let's assume he was to pay money for each of the bottles of water. He was to pay 200 naira per bottle bottled water on that island. He could have said, okay, let me afford and buy the 6, pay 1,200. Are you with me? Now, let us assume that something now happened. After buying the first bottle for 200, he had 1,000 naira remaining. He needs to buy 5 more. Something now happened. Now said, bottled water will be sold to 500 naira. So, will he be willing to increase the money to buy additional price, or just to buy either one that the money can buy?
Buy one bottle.
Because he has already satisfied the urgent need. So
yes,
find out that the value, so each additional unit of any given to the service that they will buy will be put a less valued use than the one before. We can say that the value of each additional unit the value each additional unit less than because they value each additional unit of less and they are willing to pay less. So one more unit of a good that consumers buy, the less they are willing to pay in terms of the price or even in terms of the stress go through before they can buy it. So by adding up all the units of a good that consumers are willing to buy at a given price, we can describe a market demand curve which is always sloping downward, like the one that I'm going to show you below. So each point on the curve from point A, B, C that I will show you reflects the quantity demanded Q at a given price P. So at point A, for example, the quantity demanded is low, which is Q1, and the price is high, which is P1. At higher prices, consumers demanded less, and at lower prices, demanded high. So this is what we are talking about. Can you see the curve?
Yes, sir.
So at point A, here is the price, very high. Here is the quantity demanded, low. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
If you are going to measure the quantity, this Q3 will be the highest, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Because maybe like let's say 100, 100, 300. So Q3 will be 300. And let's assume the price from 100, 100, 200, 300. Then P1 will be 300. So at P1 300, Q1 is 100. At P2 200, Q2 is also 200. Then at P3 100, Q3 so the lower the price, the higher the quantity, and the higher the price, the lower the quantity. Is that taking?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you are going to see this so that you can, and when you are watching, you can draw it out. This you have that is the demand curve. Now, demand versus quantity demanded. Demand versus quantity demanded. Here, we're talking about in economics thinking. In economics thinking, it is important to understand the difference between the phenomena of demand and quantity demand. In the chart, the term demand refers to the light blue line plotted, the light blue line that is plotted through ABC. Let's go back to see. Look at this light blue line that's plotted through ABC. Straight line, that's slope. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So the term demand refers to that line. Then it expresses the relationship between the urgency of the consumer wants and the number of units of economic goods at hand. Now, a change in demand means a shift of the position or shape of that particular curve, that I just showed. So it reflects a change in the underlying pattern of consumer wants and the need, or vice versa. And this means, and with the means that is available, which is like satisfy. But on the other hand, the term quantity demanded refers to a point along the horizontal axis. Yes, changes in the quantity demanded strictly reflect change in the price without implying any change pattern of the consumer preferences. Change in quantity demanded just means movement along the demand curve itself. Because of a change in price, that is the movement along the demand curve because of a price, that is maybe the quantity becomes higher because price becomes lower. Then these two ideas are often conflated, but this is a common error. Rising or falling prices do not decrease or increase the demand, they change the quantity demanded. Take that again. Rising or falling of prices does not change or does not reduce or increase demand, but they actually change the quantity demanded. So whether the price rise or fall, there will always be demand. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But the quantity demanded time. So factors affecting demand. What does change? What does change demand? And what does change bring about a change in demand? The shape and position of the demand curve can be impacted by several factors, such as rising income. Rising income tends to increase the demand for normal economic goods, as people are willing to spend more. So, if it's a normal economic good, then rising income brings about. For example, somebody who is managing a car based on his salary or his portfolio, when he begins to earn it big or whatever, he might end up buying another car. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Rising income tends to increase demand for normal economic as people are willing to spend. The availability of food substitute also is another factor. That a food substitute that competes with a given economic good tend to reduce the demand for that good. For example, if Oral-B toothpaste serve the same purpose as close-up, then you cannot say you want to die for close-up. You cannot say you will travel far to get close-up when Oral-B is close by. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
So, since they satisfy the same kind of power, then one will affect the other. Conversely, the availability of food complementary goods tend to increase demand for an economic good. Because the use of the two goods together can be even more valuable to demand than using them separately, like peanut butter and dairy. Okay, what we're trying to say is this: if somebody is there's a place around your school where somebody opens a shop and is selling ordinary fish, fried fish. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Another person opens selling ordinary bread. But the third person now opens selling fried fish and bread. Who do you think will make more money?
Fried fish and bread.
Because instead of you to go to this place go to another place, you prefer to go to the person that is selling, and buy it. So that is what that's all. Other factors such as future expectations, changes in background environmental conditions, changes in the actual or perceived quality of it, and change demand of, because they alter the pattern of consumer preference, of how the good can be used or how urgently it's needed. So just take note of this. Now let's talk about the law of supply. Supply is the total amount of service that is available to consumer at certain price point. Take that again. Total amount of a specific good or service that is available to at certain point is supply. So as the supply of a product is increased, so does the demand. It directly affects the price. The law of supply then is a microeconomic law stating that all other factors being equal, the price of a good or service rises. As the price of a good or service rises, that suppliers offer will rise in income, and vice versa. So if the price of a good rises, then the supplier will supply more because they want to make more profit. And if the price of a good drops, the supplier will not supply more because they'll be like, not going to make enough profit. So they prefer selling things that are high profit. That's taking.
Yes, sir.
So the law of supply states that all other factors being equal, the price of a good or service rises. The rising will also make a supply rise. As the price of a good or service rises, that the supplier offer rise, and as the price of a service declines or decreases, then quantity also that the supplier will offer will decrease. So ergo is a name. Ergo, when demanded, exceeds the available supply. The price product that is typically right. What we're trying to say is that this particular person, Ego, stated that when the demand exceeds the available supply, when people are demanding more and there is little for the supplier to offer, the price of the product typically rise. But do you know why should there be a rise in the price of a product that is limited in supply? And you think about that. Why should there be a rise in the price of limited in supply?
Why should there be a rise in
the price of a commodity that is limited in supply? For example,
limited?
Yes, it's limited. The supply is low. Then
and they need to raise it because since it's limited, they will lose income. They will lose part of their profits because it's already few and people will be buying.
And another reason could be that, if they let the price depend, and some consumers know that this thing is not going to be there forever. Are you with me?
Yes.
Maybe it's going to become scarce. Then the consumers will go and buy it more. They will hold it. Meanwhile, some consumers that have enough money will buy it. While those that have just little money that is the exact price of that thing will not be able to see it to buy. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
So some will hold it, while some. But if they increase the price, the increase in price will do two things. Number one, it will discourage those that it is not that they have much money, but they just simply want to hold it, and they don't actually need what they want to do. So because the price has increased, they're like, tomorrow now, the price might still change. So they will not buy much value that they are going to hold because there is an increased price. So with that, there will be available little supply for some other people.
Okay.
Yeah. So conversely, should the supply of an item increase while the demand remains the same, then the price will go down. That is, if they are supplying more. For example, there was a time that tomato comes too much in the market and people are not demanding for more tomatoes. Then a full basket of tomato was going for 50 naira. You understand? Particularly in the north. And what happened then was that there was conflict between the north and the south or east. And the north said, because people are fighting against herdsmen or whatever, people are fighting against herdsmen, fighting against this and that. It's now that they too will not supply north and east what they are producing. Forgetting the fact that these are perishable goods. So in order for it not to perish, because they were not able to supply to the south and the east, then they have to start giving it away at the cheapest price. In this case, we see that the supply of that item has increased. Not because it has increased, they supplied the first day, it was not dispersed. Supplied the second day, it was not dispersed. For like, a few days or a week, definitely it has affected them. Then they cannot keep the price up. Otherwise, people don't buy. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is let's look at one more thing there. Okay. So what is this is where we're going to be running up. What is the simple explanation of the law of demand? The law of demand tells us that if more people want to buy something, even a limited supply, the price of that thing will be bit higher. Likewise, the higher the price of it, the lower the price that will be purchased. And why the law of demand, together with the law of supply, the law of demand helps us to understand why things are priced at the level that they are, and to identify opportunities to buy what are perceived to be underpriced or sell what is overpriced goods or assets or securities. For instance, a firm may boost production in response to rising prices that are being scored by its bulge in And for example, you see that people are demanding for this particular whatever, then you go into that business. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is where we're going to be rounding up. Is or the last thing they say, can the law of demand be broken? I say yes. In certain cases, an increase in demand does not affect prices in ways predicted by the law of demand. I repeat, in certain
Yes,
cases,
sir.
an increase in demand does not affect prices in ways predicted by the law of demand. Which way was predicted by the law of demand? That is, increase in demand, limited supply will affect the price, will rise the price. Yes or no? Raise the price. Now, but this one is saying that in some cases, an increase in demand does not affect. For instance, the so-called Bibling goods. There are some goods that are called Bibling goods. These are the things for which demand increases as their price rises. These are perceived as status or symbols. You know, maybe like cars that I mentioned. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Cars have been on the expensive side since I was born. It has been increasing, it has never reduced. Yet people have they kept on buying it. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, for demand for giving goods, in contrast to giving goods, are not luxury items. You know, the demand for them rises when the price rises and falls when the price falls. Example of giving goods can include bread, rice. These tend to be common necessities and essential items. Few good substitutes at the same price level. For example, can you call Indomie and spaghetti substitutes?
No.
Because they are not the same. Why are they not the same? With Indomie, you already have what you used and the taste is different. You understand?
Yes, sir.
But spaghetti, you still need stew, you need ingredients before you can make spaghetti. So they are not same. So thus, people may start odd toilet paper even as the price of toilet paper goes up. You know, that's just an example. So that's where we're going to be rounding up then. You get ready for the English class soon. I will send the link
Okay.
in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Alright. Take care. Like I said today, that's the right. So that's an essay. It's an essay.
Essay is a written piece of work,
Okay.
like expressing oneself.
The expressing thought, expressing opinion, conveying ideas. Okay. Let's say step. I believe you can see the white screen.
Yes, sir.
So essay, generally, essay is a short piece of writing outlining the writer's perspective or story. It is often considered as synonymous with a story or a paper or an article. Essays can be formal as well as informal. Formal essays generally very thick and they tackle serious topics. So we'll be focusing on informal essays that are more personal and often have humorous elements. Okay?
Yes, sir.
What's an essay now?
A short piece of writing outlining the writer's perspective or story.
What? Types of essays. Type of essay will depend on what the writer wants to convey to his reader. There are broadly four categories. First one here, narrative essay. Narrative. This is when the writer is narrating an incident, a story through the essay. You are writing to narrate what happened or tell a story. This kind of essay is called narrative essay. So these are in the first person. You are giving account how happened to you. Now, the aim when writing narrative essay is to involve the reader in the essay as if they were right there when it happened. So, make them as vivid and big as possible. One way to make this possible is to follow the principle of show, don't tell. That is, you show your reader how it happened. So you must involve the reader in your story. Carry your reader along. So you are seeing the person telling the person. So that is about part of narrative essay. Now, for descriptive essay. From the word descriptive, describe. Here, the writer will describe a place. He will describe an object. He will describe an event. Or maybe even describe a memory. It is not just plainly describing things. The writer must paint a picture through his words. One clever way to do that is to invoke the sense of the reader. Do not only rely on sight, also involve other things: smell, touch, and sound. So a descriptive essay, when done well, will make the reader feel the emotion the writer was feeling at the moment. So, that is about essay. So next one we're talking about is expository essay. In such an essay, the writer presents a balanced study of the topic. You're like taking your reader on an excursion. To write such an essay, the writer must have real and extensive knowledge about the subject. In fact, you can present facts. Are you listening?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. You can present facts, you can present statistics. According to what population census, according to whatever national data as reference your essay, or according to scientists, or according to this person, according to that. So there is no scope for the writer's feeling or emotion and experience. It is completely based on facts, statistics, examples, or real life situation. Here, you are not taking it up or forming it. You are not just thinking and writing. You are presenting an evidence, or let's say a result of an essay. So there are subtypes here, like contrast essay, false essay, and test essay. And say what are the causes of this, or how this can affect this, or compare and contrast between two. So in this way, you don't go with emotion, you go with reality. Is that taking?
Yes.
The other one we talk about is persuasive essay. Here, from the word persuade. The purpose of the essay is get the reader to be on your side of the argument, believe with you, convince your reader. The persuasive essay is not just a presentation of facts, though it must include presentation of facts, but an attempt to be the reader of the writer's point. So both sides of the argument have to be presented to each person, but the ultimate aim is to persuade the reader that the writer's argument carries more. For example, if you are going into an argumentative essay, you must talk about your own side and the other side, but you have to, draw your listener's attention to why you are right, why you are the right person. So those are the four types. Now let's talk about the formats of essay writing. format of it. Now, there is no rigid format of an essay because why? It is a creative process, and so it should not be confined within boundaries. The only thing is that don't commit blunder, but be creative about it. You understand?
Yes.
It is your creativity that will, interest, that will evoke the curiosity of your reader in reading and not to get bored by reading. However, there is a basic structure that is generally followed by writing. So let us take a look at this general structure. The first one there is introduction. So this is the first paragraph of the essay. And this is where the writer introduces his topic for the very first time. You don't go to the second paragraph and start introducing the topic. No. Introduce your topic in the first paragraph. You can give a brief synopsis of your essay in the introductory paragraph so that your reader will know about what you are trying to write. Some paragraph writing skills can help in this area. So generally, it's not very long, but about 4 to 6 times. That is an introductory paragraph or an essay. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So the next part of an essay, so before we move, said there's plenty of scope to get creative introduction essay. This will ensure that you hook the reader, like I mentioned, that is draw and keep the attention of the reader. So to do so, you can start with a quote or a proverb. Sometimes you can start with a definition. Another interesting strategy is to engage your reader, start with a question. For example, let's assume you are writing on what a man can do, a woman can do better. You understand? Or probably you are to oppose that particular topic, trying to say men are always better than women. You just bring out a statement that will be like a question or like a proverb that will evoke that you are like asking your reader for an answer, but the reader is not going to be there with you answer. So the reader will be curious to know the answer you have provided to that question along time. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
So the next thing we're talking about is the body. This is the main crux of the essay. The main crux of your essay. The body is the meat of your essay. Your essay sandwich between the introduction and that is the main ideology. That's where the idea is. So the most vital and important content of the essay is this needs to be defined to one paragraph. That is, all of your points, point per paragraph. So if you are discussing 5 points, let there be 5 paragraphs. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
If you are discussing 7 points, let there. So that is why before you write an essay, you must have your point that you want to discuss. So if you are to discuss 3 points, that means you are dwelling in 3 paragraphs for your body. If you are to discuss 5 points, you can discuss advantages or disadvantages, or discuss about the problem in society and to pick up the ways out. So when you are talking about the problem, that's the paragraph. When you are talking about what the problem has caused, that's another paragraph. And if there are things that the problem has caused, not only one area, so those are paragraphs. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
And those are paragraphs. As those are the paragraphs, and now to talk about ways out. There are 2 ways in this paragraph. There are 5 ways. So you mention something and you explain why you think it. Then that is. So the body is the meat of the introduction. So the most vital point is, and you don't need to model them together. Paragraph. It can extend to 2 or more paragraphs according to the content. Now, usually have a lot of information ready. And this, the mistakes writers generally make go about it in haphazard manner, which leaves the reader confused. They don't bring it one before the other as order of priority. So it is important to organize your thoughts and context. Write the information in a systematic flow so that your reader can comprehend, so it can flow along. So, for example, when narrating an incident, the best manner to do this will be to go into chronological order, the order at which the event happened. First, then the second, then the third, and then the last part of an essay where to discuss there, concluding part. This is the last part, the last paragraph. Yes. Sometimes a conclusion will just mirror the introductory paragraph, but make sure the words and sentences are different. The conclusion is also a great place to sum up a story or to sum up an argument. You can round up your essay by providing some moral or wrapping up the story. Make sure you complete your essays with conclusion. Leave no hanging thread. So that means if you write an essay and there is no conclusion, lose some marks. So is that it?
Yes, sir.
Then, these are tips. I want to mention about tips for writing essays. First tip is that give your essay an interesting and appropriate title. So when it's not letter writing that already has a title, it's a message, you give it an interesting and appropriate title. This will help to draw the attention of the reader and pique their curiosity. Then keep it between 300 and 500 words. Though in exam it will be stated maybe 40. Understand me? You understand?
Yes, that. Yes.
It's like 350 or 4. Now, this is the ideal length. You can take creative, maybe that is you can follow that down the same. Then keep your language simple and crisp. Don't go ahead and be using difficult words. Unnecessary, complicated, and difficult words can break the flow of the sentence that your reader will not be able to understand. Instead of saying comprehend, why not say understand? You understand me?
Yes, sir.
So, do not make grammar mistakes. Use correct punctuation and spelling. If this is not done, describe the reader from the content. Before beginning the essay, organize your thoughts and plot a rough draft. So this way you can ensure that the story will flow and not be an unorganized mess. So these are tips that one can follow in when we're talking about essay writing. So having said that, I want to add that what are the types of essay that we have been talking about and what do you understand by each one, just step by step, one after the other.
Well, first of all, we spoke on narrative essay.
Okay, we spoke
This is a
about
type of essay that the writer. This is a type of essay that describes, like the writer describes as if he was in that event to the readers for them to understand. Descriptive essay. Descriptive essay. This is the type of essay that describes an object or a person, a personality to the writer, to the readers rather. Expository essay. Expository essay is a way of, like you mentioned, maybe like evidence, presenting the evidence. Like you said, doctors present results. This is a way of, and persuading or argumentative essay is like what Either you're opposing or supporting the topic that they have given to you, or the topic will come on your own. Like you give it, for instance, what men can do, women can do better. It's either for you to oppose or for you to support.
Okay. So that's one.
And mm, you gave me the tips on how to follow essay writing. Like you gave me the tips on essay writing. You as well give us the steps to go about essay writing. You spoke on the topics. You spoke on the like that is the introduction to topics. You spoke on the body of the lesson. That contains all the information, all the points I've listed. You spoke on the conclusion. That is the ending of the essay that also probably describes the introduction.
Okay. So we've spoken about here does argumentative essay fall often that we look at.
Persuading essay.
Okay. Then we talk about. I want to mention some topics. Mention some topics and try to try to pass where do you think belong to.
Okay, sir.
For example, if you have to write an essay, if you have to write an essay, student failure at fire, additional exam, causes of student failure. What do you think? Causes of student failure. Why?
Causes of students feeling like
Yes. So under what
expository essay.
expose? What about this type of this one? Life lessons you have learned during quarantine.
Narrative.
Narrate. What about this? Mass media and the pandemic.
Descriptive.
Why do you call it descriptive?
Because you are describing it.
Maybe how one affects the person.
Yeah.
Okay, let's let me look at another. Okay, let's say school life during COVID-19.
School life bordering COVID-19.
No, school life during COVID-19.
Narrative essay.
What about this? Vaping. You know what they call vaping?
Vaping.
Yes.
Not really.
It's this electronic smoking or vaping. So, if I say vaping is as harmful as smoking cigarette. Or okay, let me say vaping is not as harmful as. So what under what topic can it fall?
Persuading essay.
Okay, because you are negating. What about argumentative? Can it fall under it?
Yes, as well. It
Yes.
depends on the one that
So that means you can either oppose it or support, right?
support. Yes, sir.
Uh, let me review. What about topic like a life without internet or life
A,
without internet? Life without the internet. Mhm. Life without
narrative,
internet.
narrative essay.
No, you're actually not narrating because you are like describing what life is without internet, right?
Okay. So descriptive essay.
Descriptive essay. What about let's say consequences of drug abuse?
Expository essay.
Yes. Okay. How about this one? Let's say your favorite event.
Narrative essay.
Narrative. Okay. Think that will be ending the English. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in the next 5 minutes, I'll begin uh, comment that.
Yes, sir.
I'll be sharing the document now so that we can look at types of electoral system. Then, about electoral system, discussed a bit last week. This is a system or it's a voting system. An electoral system or voting system is a set of rules that determine how elections and referendums are conducted and how they are resolved. So we can say another name for electoral system is called voting system. Yes or no? And you can know that voting systems vary. It is different from one country to another. So some countries practice the same, while some also practice that type. Okay. Electoral systems are used in politics to elect governments, while non-political elections take place in business, non-profit organizations, and informal organizations. You know, in NUT, do you know the meaning of NUT? Yes, Nigerian Union of Teachers, they used to have their chairman, secretary, they did that. So they used to conduct elections. Even in schools, in higher institutions, they used to conduct elections. President of particular association. So all those are micro politics. So for electoral systems are used in politics to elect governments, while non-political elections take place in businesses, non-profit organizations, and informal. So these rules, that is the electoral set of rules, this rule governs all aspects of the voting process. So when elections occur, who is allowed to vote? So it governs who is allowed to vote, it governs who can stand as a candidate, it governs how ballots are marked and how ballots are cast, how the ballots are counted, how votes translate into the election outcome, limits on campaign spending, and other factors that can affect the result of the election. So these are the rules that the electoral system governs. That technique.
Yes, sir.
So political electoral systems are defined by constitution and electoral laws and are typically conducted by election commission and use multiple types of election different offices or techniques. Now, some electoral systems elect a single winner to a unique position, such as prime minister, president, or governor, while others elect multiple winners, such as members of parliament or boards of directors. When electing the legislature, voters may be divided into constituencies, one or more representatives, like we used to have representatives in the House of the Federal House of Assembly, and may vote directly for individual candidates or for a list of candidates forwarded by a party or alliance. So this is what electoral system is. So there are many variations, but with the most common system being the first past voting, block voting, two-round runoff system, proportional representation, and rank voting. Some electoral systems, such as mixed system, attempt to combine the benefits of non-proportional and proportional system. We're going to see as we move further. So the study of formally defined electoral methods is called social choice theory or voting theory. Social choice theory or voting theory. And this study can take place within the field of political science and economics or mathematics, especially within the subfield of game theory and mechanism design. So this is all about politics. So impossibility proofs, such as Arrow's impossibility theorem, demonstrate that when voters have three or more alternatives, no preferential voting system can guarantee the race between two candidates remain unaffected when an irrelevant candidate participates in the election. For example, we are in election period this time around because they have started campaigning. Somebody was like saying, people believe that, apart from election, there is this thing going on in Nigeria about maybe separation of the regions, yes or no? The separation of the regions, like Biafra, Pakistan, the Yoruba nation, the Arewa nation, or something like that. Now, meanwhile, the elite doesn't want that. Are you with me? The elite doesn't want that. The reason best known to them, but the citizens, some sect of the citizens are like, it doesn't matter. If we separate, we can still interrelate and this and that and that. But some people, a part of Yoruba, part of Hausa, they are supporting it will be this time around, yes or no? And some part of whether Igbo or even Hausa, they are supporting Tinubu, while some other parts, whether Yoruba or whatever, that is in particular. Now, somebody put up a post yesterday, said some Hausas are concerned that if Itabi get there, it's going to use its presidential mind to clear Biafra nation. You understand?
Yes,
Now, the main thing, that is their own fear. You understand? That's their own fear. Now, he was now like saying, if there was no Peter Obi in the race, if it were to be only Atiku and Tinubu, that Tinubu would not have any chance because the Hausas are part of the Yorubas. All the Hausas together with their population are going to support Atiku because they don't want another tribe to be in the power. You understand? Now, but with Peter Obi now, that Peter Obi has given Tinubu some chances, that people who are supposed to support Peter Obi, that's part of the Hausa that was supported Peter Obi, they will now be afraid that, Peter Obi will be Biafra. They go and support Tinubu, not even Atiku. But the main thing is that all these are just, guesswork. You understand me? They are guesswork. But in politics, it actually determine who the outcome of the election. And that is why we're talking about electoral system. Now, the first type that we're talking about is plurality system. You remember we mentioned something like this last week? Yes, plurality system. This is a voting system. Voting is a system in which candidates with the highest number of votes win. No requirement to get a majority of votes. In cases where there is a single position to be filled, it is known as the first past the post system. This is the second most common electoral system for national education. 58 countries using it for this purpose. The vast majority of which are current or former British or American colonies or territories. It is also the second most common system used for presidential elections being used in 19 countries. So, plurality system says the candidate with the highest number of votes win. Now, it doesn't matter whether it has votes of majority of the tribe or not. You understand? Now, in cases where there are multiple positions to fill, most commonly in cases of multi-member communities, plurality voting is referred to as block voting. Multiple non-transferable votes of plurality at large. So either they call it not block voting or they call it multiple non-transferable votes or plurality at large. So this takes two main forms. In one form, voters have as many votes as there are seats and can vote for any candidate regardless of party. This is used in 8 countries. So this is used in 8 countries. There are variations on this, such as limited voting, where voters are given fewer votes than there are seats. Gibraltar is the only territory where this system is in use. Talking about the territory in the world that they use that system, and single non-transferable vote SNC, in which voters can vote for one candidate in a multi-member constituency. The candidate receiving the most votes were the winner. Then this system is used in Kuwait, then the Pitcairn Islands and Vanuatu. These are countries that are not that popular, but Kuwait is a little bit popular. Then in the other main form of block voting, like we mentioned previously, also known as party block voting, voters can only vote for the multiple candidates of a single party, with the party receiving the most votes winning the contested position. This is used in 5 countries as part of the main system. So what we are trying to say is that the previous talking about plurality and the countries in which I would say plurality system whereby candidates with the highest number of votes win. But we are now talking about cases whereby there are multiple positions to fill, most commonly in the case of multi-member countries. Now the plurality is being referred to as another type of voting, block voting or multiple non-transferable voting, or we just refer to it as plurality. And that's what we're talking about here, and the countries in which that one is being practiced with the various definitions. Now, the down-door system. The down-door system is a multi-member confederation on the border count. It's used in Nauru for parliamentary elections and says that rank the candidates depending, the voters are going to rank the candidates depending on how many seats there are in their country. First, the first preference votes are counted as whole number. Then the second preference votes are divided by 2. Third preference votes are divided by 3. So this continues to the lowest possible ranking. Then the totals achieved by each candidate determine winner. See, we're still talking about the highest being winner. So all of them are still under rally. That's definitely. Now, here we're talking about majority system. This is another electoral system. So the first system we just finished is plurality. Now, majority system is a system in which candidates must receive a majority of votes to be elected, either in a runoff election or final round of voting. Although, in some cases, only a plurality is required in the last round of voting if no candidate can achieve a majority. That is, if no candidate. So there are two main forms of majoritarian system. One conducted in a single election using ranked voting, and the other using multiple elections to successively narrow the field of candidates. And both are primarily used for single-member. Now, majoritarian voting can be achieved in a single election using instant runoff voting (IRV), where voters rank the candidates in order of preference, and this system is used for parliamentary elections earlier in Papua New Guinea. So, if no candidate receives a majority of votes in the first round, then the second preference of the lowest ranked candidates are then added. This is repeated until the candidate achieves over 50% of the number of valid votes. If not, all voters use all their preference, then the count on candidate remains at which the winner or this is also talking about the winner having the most after all other alternatives have failed. So a modified form of IRV, contingent vote, where voters do not rank all candidates but have a limited number of preferences. If no candidate has a majority in the first round, all candidates are excluded except the top two, with the highest remaining preference of votes for the excluded candidate then added to determine the winner. This system is used in Sri Lanka presidential elections. Voters are allowed to give three preferences. That is, they are going to say, I choose this or this or this. But in Nigeria, voters are allowed to only one person. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But in Sri Lanka, they are allowed to vote. So they now tally it up. One that is now the winner is one that wins, the one with the highest vote. The other main form of majoritarian system is the round system, which is the most common system used for presidential elections around the world, being used in 88 countries. It is also used in 20 countries for electing legislators. If no candidate achieves a majority of votes, first round of voting, the second round is held to determine the winner. In most cases, the second round is limited to the top candidate from the first round. Maybe they are a tally, they are going to vote again. Although in some elections, more than two candidates choose to contest the second round. In these cases, the second round is decided by plurality vote. Some countries use a modified form of round system, such as Ecuador, where a candidate in presidential elections gets the winner if they receive 40% of the vote and are 10% ahead of their nearest rival. So if you receive 40% of the vote and you are already 10% ahead of your nearest rival, then they declare the person the winner. So in Argentina, 45% of the vote, then 10% ahead of the nearest rival. Here the system is known as ballot. Yes. Okay, so that means I can just get you the lecture video, no problem. You can leave the meeting now. I'll continue the explanation so you can get lecture video. Okay? So exit yourself now. So the next thing is an exhaustive ballot system is not limited to 2 rounds, but sees the last place candidate eliminated.
I think the phone has 1%.
So an exhaustive ballot is not limited to 2 rounds, but sees the last place candidate eliminated in each round of voting. Due to the potentially large number of rounds, this system is not used in any major popular election, but it is used to elect speakers of parliament in several countries, members of the state federal council. In some formats, there may be multiple grounds held without any candidate being nominated until a candidate achieves majority. That is, if they didn't majority. So a system used in the United States Electoral College. Now, here is another system, electoral system, proportional. Proportional system is the representation, the representation, proportional representation is the most widely used electoral system in the parliaments of over 80 countries are elected by various forms of this system. So party list proportional representation is a single small electoral system and is used by 80 countries and involves voters each of candidates proposed by a party. In closed list system, voters do not have any influence over the candidate or by the party. But in open list, voters are able to vote the party list and influence the order in which candidates sign seat. So they can choose which seat this person voted for. In some countries, notably Israel and Netherlands, elections are carried out using pure proportional representation, with the votes tallied on a national level before assigning seats to parties. However, in most cases, several member constituencies are used rather than a single nationwide constituency, giving an element of geography. This can result in distribution of seats not reflecting national group. So, as a result, some countries have leveling seats award to parties rather than votes. So, in addition to electoral credit, minimum percentage of votes that the party must obtain to win seat. There are several different ways to allocate seats. So there are two main types of system: highest average and largest remainder. Highest average system involves dividing the votes received by each party by a series of devices, producing figures that determine seats. For example, the Dawn method, of which there are variants between Harvard and the Webster St. Louis method. Under largest remainder system, party vote shares are divided by the total obtained by dividing the total number of votes by the number of seats available. So this usually leaves some seats unallocated, which are awarded to the party based on the largest seats that they have remaining. Examples of largest remainder system include the hair quota, the coup quota, the imperial quota, in values of this. So that is what that is about. Then we have single transferable vote STV. It's another form of proportional representation. In STV, voters rank the candidates mostly member committees rather than voting for party. They rank instead of voting for party, they rank candidate mostly member committees. So it is used in Malta and Republic of Ireland. To be elected, candidate must pass the quota, the group quota being the most. So the candidates that pass the quota on the first count are elected. Votes are then reallocated from the list to them, as well as surplus votes from successive candidates until all seats have been filled by the candidate. And here we are talking about another system for electoral. We have mixed system and that's the last. In several countries, mixed systems are used in electoral. These include parallel voting, proportional mixed member or majoritarian, and mixed member proportional representation. So in non-compensatory parallel voting systems which are used in many countries, there are two methods by which member of the legislature are elected. Part of the membership is elected by plurality or majority vote, single member constituency, and other parts by proportional representation. So The result of the constituency vote have no effect on the outcome. So in compensatory mixed member representation, the result of the proportional vote are just balanced seats on the committee. So in mixed member proportional system which is used in a country, there is enough competition in order to ensure that parties have a number of seats proportional. So next, the other systems may be etc. And this may result overhang seats, where parties win more seats than they would be entitled based on their position. So duration of this includes the additional and alternative votes, in which voters cast votes for both single member and constituency and multi-member constituency. The allocation of seats in the multi-member constituency are adjusted to achieve overall seat parties vote share by taking into account the number of seats won by the parties in a single member. Now, single mixed vote system also compensatory. However, they usually use a vote transfer mechanism, unlike the seat linkage of MMP, and may or may not be used. So an unusual form of mixed member compensatory using negative vote transfer, according to Scorpio, was used from 1903 6. So that is about that. So the other system includes primary elections. Primary elections are a feature of some electoral system, either as a formal part of the electoral system or informally by choice of individual position, method of candidate, or candidate. As case in point, primary elections limit the risk of voting by ensuring a single party candidate. In Argentina, they are a former part of the electoral system and take place in, like in Nigeria, it takes place. So any party receiving less than 1.5% is not permitted in the election. In the United States, there are both partisan and non-partisan elections. Some elections feature indirect. Elections feature an indirect electoral system whereby there is no popular vote, or the popular vote is only one stage of the election. In this system, the final vote is usually taken by an electoral college. Several countries such as Mauritius or Trinidad and Tobago, president elected by such in others like India are both by an electoral college consisting of nationality and executive. In the United States, the president is indirectly elected using a two-stage process. A popular vote each stage elects members to the electoral college that in turn elect the president. So this can result where a candidate is while does not win the electoral college as recently happened in 2015. Systems used outside politics. So outside politics, we have other systems that are not in politics. In addition to various electoral systems with politics sphere, there are numerous others, some of which are proposals and some of which have been adopted for usage in business, such as electing corporate board members or for organizations, but not for public elections. So we talk about rank systems. Rank systems include open voting, the various conduct methods, Oakland, Doxy, Phoenix, Young, and maximum level. So all these that we talk about, they are rank methods, these are also several variants of single transferable vote, including the short FTV and the right system. One member proportional two candidates are elected. One with the most votes and ensure proportionality of the result. One with the most votes and one so while apportionment system where a total number of votes used to calculate by proportion. We apportion votes used to calculate the number of seats each party is due, followed by the calculation of the constituencies in which the seats should be awarded in order to achieve huge then the vote. Here we're also talking about cardinal. Cardinal electoral system allows voters to evaluate candidates independently. Complexity ranges from approval to where voters whether they approve of a candidate or not, range voting, where a candidate is set up others. So what we are trying to say here is that there are other systems, electoral systems outside the politics. Now, my next class we're going to talk about the Nigerian system and see how it